So how do hedge funds make money in these markets?
Well, look, there's obviously a lot of planning. To take advantage of moves like this in the market, you've got to plan ahead. You've got to try and anticipate if certain things sort of line up. You know, how will you try and exploit the move? We're witnessing the start of a crisis which will affect, obviously it's going to affect a lot of people in a terrible way, which is awful. Unfortunately, as I said before, this happens quite often in one's lifetime. And I'm not talking about a virus, but I'm talking about economic crisis. So, from a strictly trading point of view, the markets are quite generous at the moment. Obviously, most of the economy is going to suffer some pain, which is not a nice thing. Much of the economy doesn't know that this will likely tip us into a bigger economic problem, which, in my opinion, will result in job losses, etc. But at the end of the day, there isn't really anything you and I can do about this. What we can do is try and understand what is happening and why it is happening, and use that knowledge to trade the markets. You follow the flow of capital from one asset to another, and it gives you the opportunity to continue to support your family, your loved ones, continue to sponsor whatever good causes you're involved with, humanitarian projects, or whatever you're sort of a part of. Fortunately, economic crisis doesn't mean we sort of stand by just watching the news every day and worrying about what's going to happen. We're not going to sit on the sidelines suffering and wondering when things are going to get better. It means we can identify what is going on, where the money is going, and we can sort of go with it.
Okay, so stock market, will you be buying anytime soon?
Well, look, if you're talking short term, so the next sort of 6 months, then yes, I will be buying the stock market and selling the yen and the Swissy. I will probably be buying the stock market actually sometime this month or next month, so it's March or April. And what I'm doing is the way I'm thinking is I'm looking at China, I'm using that as an example. I expect this virus to be under some reasonable control by, say, June. I'm talking in the Western world. Therefore, I want to buy the stock market now, as it will go up way before there's any economic recovery. The economy won't be doing well in June, but the stock market sort of always is quite a few months ahead of where the economy is. Now, exactly when I will buy is a timing issue, and of course that's what technical analysis is for.
You mentioned oil. Where do you think oil is going?
Well, oil is obviously, we've seen a crash in oil. It's not a supply and demand issue. Saudi Arabia knows the virus is causing a world financial crisis, and therefore oil will fall. And usually, what they will do is cut production. Unfortunately, what's going on there is, they're increasing production of oil. They're flooding the market with oil to try and crash the price further. And this is to hurt their competition, the Russians and the American frackers, trying to put particularly the frackers will go out of business at such low oil barrel prices. The Russians have got some kind of a contingency, an amount of money that they will be dipping into, but I think Saudi Arabia's break-even point on a barrel is something like $13, so oil has the potential to fall even further. It's a strategy by Saudi Arabia, so at the moment, no, I won't be buying any oil.
So what kind of strategies do you implement in such a volatile, unpredictable market?
I wouldn't say unpredictable. As far as trading is concerned, we're in a risk-off environment, which means strong yen and the last few years a strong sort of Swissy. And really it's not very difficult to sell in a bear market, a clear bear market.
Any indicators you can share with us?
Indicators? Well, look, my trading isn't really about technical indicators. It's about understanding how economies work and where money moves, depending on the economic climate. Clearly we're in a bear market at the moment. Yes, I do use indicators to time some trades, but selling a central pivot point or an M3 in a bear market isn't exactly genius. It's just knowing when to do it. In other words, identifying the bearish market and then knowing when to stop doing it again. It's not rocket science. Technical analysis is really not that difficult for the average person to master. The gaining experience and psychology side of things, obviously, it's required to trade successfully. That takes a little bit more time. But in the end, you're in a much better position than most who, through no fault of their own, will lose their jobs because the economy crashed, or maybe they've got a shop that relies on tourism and that's hit by the economic crisis. Again, not their fault. Or you're being forced to take a pay cut, or you're being forced to travel to work exposed to a virus. Thankfully, a trader can avoid these sort of things. They're reliant on good health, electricity, a computer with an internet connection, some money to work with. So whereas most hard-working people suffer financially, you can avoid a lot of that hardship and actually do very well in times like this, even though the markets are crashing. You just need to be calm, understand how the economic system works, and obviously use that knowledge to continue to support not just your family, but others well beyond that.